Welcome back, friends. Today, we're going to explore a story that touches the heart and stimulates our minds. Let's discuss together.
First, you may have noticed there's been a wave of attacks on train passengers in the southeast of England. It is
Imagine a famous presenter, loved by millions, walking home on a sunny day in London. Suddenly, in a matter of seconds, her life is taken by an unknown killer. This isn't a movie or detective novel scenario, but the real-life story of Jill Dando, a British TV icon. Who could be so cruel to kill her in broad daylight? Why would a woman with seemingly no enemies become the target of such a brutal murder? Join us as we uncover the mystery behind one of the most shocking and puzzling criminal cases in England. Welcome to the enigmatic world surrounding the murder of Jill Dando. Let's begin. The murder case of Jill Dando, a renowned television presenter in the UK, has become one of the most captivating criminal mysteries, drawing attention from the public and the government alike. Dando tragically died in April 1999, brutally killed in front of her home. The killer was never caught at the scene, sparking widespread speculation and various theories about the motive and perpetrator. This case has garnered intense media scrutiny and remains an unresolved mystery to this day. Jill Dando, a television presenter at the BBC, was known as the Golden Girl of British TV and loved by the public for her warm personality and professionalism. At 37 years old, Dando had become one of the most famous faces on British TV, especially through news and documentary programs. She started her broadcasting career as a presenter at the BBC and was widely known for her involvement in the program Crime Watch, a show that helped police solve criminal cases by asking for help from the public. However, as a Crime Watch presenter, Dando faced challenges, including threats from criminals whose cases she covered and the pressure to provide accurate and sensitive information quickly. Jill Dando was very close to her family and had strong relationships with her close friends. At the time of her death, Dando was engaged to Alan Farthing, a well-known doctor. On the morning of April 26, 1999, Jill Dando left her fiancé's house and headed to her own home in Fulham, London. Around 11:30 a.m., Dando arrived at her house. As she opened the front door, she was shot in the head from close range. The bullet used was small caliber, and the bullet casing was found near her body. Neighbors at the scene reported hearing brief screams but did not hear the gunshot. Police arrived at the scene shortly after receiving the report and found Dando's body in front of her house, with the keys to her BMW convertible still in her hand. The investigation into Jill Dando's murder, became one of the largest criminal investigations in British history, with thousands of police personnel deployed to find the culprit. The Metropolitan Police launched a wide-ranging and thorough investigation, collecting evidence from the scene, interviewing witnesses, and examining CCTV recordings. In the early stages of the investigation, police considered various possible motives for the murder, including the possibility of a stalker or an angry obsessive fan. Jill Dando had previously reported several incidents of harassment, but none seemed serious enough to lead to murder. The police also explored the theory of this murder might be an act of revenge related to her work on Crime Watch. In the show, Dando often discussed major criminal cases and helped police catch criminals, which could have made her a target. Another theory examined was the possibility of involvement by an international criminal group. Less than a month before her death, Dando led a fundraising event for the Kosovo crisis, raising over £1 million in 24 hours. This sparked speculation there might be a connection to the conflict in the Balkans, and the murder could be a political revenge act. The police interviewed over 2,500 witnesses and collected more than 1,000 written statements. They also examined thousands of phone calls and investigated individuals who had grudges against Jill Dando or the Crime Watch program. Detectives visited several convicted criminals in prison to see if they had any helpful information. Despite various theories and a large amount of evidence gathered, the police struggled to find strong evidence leading to a specific suspect. This extensive investigation yielded thousands of leads, but none were sufficient to identify or prosecute the perpetrator of the murder. Barry George is a man with a history of mental health issues and concerning social behavior. He has a record as a stalker and several minor sexual offenses, which caught the attention of the police as they combed through the list of potential suspects. At the onset of the investigation, the police lacked direct physical evidence linking anyone to Jill Dando's murder. However, they received numerous tips from the public and interviewed many individuals known to frequent the Fulham area. One early lead pointing to Barry George was an eyewitness report claiming to have seen someone resembling George near the crime scene on the day of the murder. Background check. As the police examined Barry George's background, they found that he had a history of suspicious behavior, including stalking and sexual offenses. George lived alone in a flat not far from Dando's home, and his history of mental disturbance made him a suspicious subject. Evidence discovery. About 8 months after the murder, the police found a tiny gunshot residue particle in Barry George's jacket pocket. Although this particle was very small and not strong enough to be conclusive evidence, the police felt it was a significant lead linking George to the crime. Surveillance and further evidence collection, the police then closely monitored George, gathering more information about his activities and behavior. They also searched his flat several times, looking for additional evidence that could link him to Jill Dando's murder. Further investigation did not uncover the murder weapon or any other physical evidence in George's home, but his strange behavior and criminal history made the police increasingly suspicious. Arrest and detention. In February 2000, 10 months after the murder, the police finally felt they had enough evidence to arrest Barry George. He was detained and intensively interrogated. During detention, Barry George's mental health became a serious concern. He was known to have personality disorders and various other psychological issues affecting his behavior and his ability to withstand police interrogation. First trial. Barry George was charged with the murder of Jill Dando and brought to trial. The main evidence used by the prosecution was gunshot residue particles found in his jacket, and the testimony of witnesses who saw someone resembling George near the crime scene. Despite much of the evidence being circumstantial, George was found guilty and sentenced to life in prison in 2001. Reasons for detention and mental health issues. Police detained Barry George based on circumstantial evidence, and the belief that his background and behavior matched the profile of the perpetrator they were seeking. However, during the legal process, George's mental health became a significant issue. His lawyers argued that his mental disorder made him vulnerable, and that the evidence linking him to the murder was very weak and inconclusive. Second trial and release. After appealing, Barry George underwent a retrial in 2008. In this trial, the evidence of gunshot residue particles was deemed inadmissible as it was not strong enough to directly link him to the crime. With dwindling evidence and increasing doubts about his involvement, George was ultimately acquitted of all charges in August 2008. The murder of Jill Dando and the involvement of Serbian mercenaries. The murder of Jill Dando in 1999 brought deep sorrow and sparked various conspiracy theories among the British public and media. One prominent theory suggests that Dando was assassinated by Serbian mercenaries in retaliation for Britain's involvement in the NATO bombing of Serbia. This speculation is supported by the professional method of the murder, a single shot to the head, as well as threatening phone calls with an Eastern European accent received by the BBC after the incident. The suspicion arose because Dando hosted a fundraising event for the Kosovo crisis, exacerbating anti-Western sentiments in Serbia, although this theory adds layers of mystery and uncertainty to the case. British police have not found concrete evidence linking Serbian mercenaries to Dando's murder. To this day, the murder of Jill Dando remains an unsolved mystery, leaving behind grief and unanswered questions, along with unproven theories.